Hi there. My name is Danielle Tolsman with Family Voices of Wisconsin. And as you're getting ready for advocacy for change, it's important to understand the impact family involvement has had in making legislative policy, the policy process, and, well, why this is the right time to connect with your legislator. Parents have been advocating for their own families for a long time. And that could be at the IEP table or at the medical clinic, working with health professionals on a plan of care. But that advocacy is needed outside your front door too, out in the community. One of those places that need your voice is as legislative policy is being developed. And here are some examples of how advocacy by self advocates and families have made improvements in making things better for all of us today. One example is the 1975 law that said that all children are guaranteed a free, appropriate public education. Before this time, well, oftentimes children with disabilities weren't in public school. Another example is the 2010 Affordable Care Act, which says, in part, that individuals cannot be denied health insurance because of a pre existing condition, including a disability. So, why is this the right time for advocacy for change? Well, every 2 years, the state goes through a budget process. Right now, we're right about here, the planning stage. It's actually a great time to talk with legislators about the programs that could serve you better and about the programs that are serving you well. That way, when the budgets come up and your legislator is going to have your experiences and stories to reflect upon. Later this summer, things are really going to get going, and those efforts continue into the fall. Soon, state agencies are going to be submitting their budgets to the Department of Administration, where they are all compiled and then presented in one bundle to the governor. And then early next year, the governor announces their budget priorities and submits the proposed budget bill to the legislature for their consideration. The legislature then refers it to the Joint Finance Committee. This is a group of both some senators and representatives who go through the budget with a fine-tooth comb and look at each request very carefully. Some things might come out, some new things might go in, or something in the governor's proposed budget can be changed. Not long after that announcement, the Joint Finance Committee holds open public hearings to gather even more input and feedback. And once the budget bill looks good to them, it's brought forward for a vote by the Assembly and the Senate before going to the governor's desk. So even though this is not a budget year, it's actually a great time to have these really important conversations and to plant seeds for thought, both about what is working well for your family and about what could maybe work better, so that when those programs come up in the budget process, your legislator will already have some familiarity with how those programs work to support families. And participation in organized events like Advocacy for Change is a great way to get involved in this process. So, here is one of the reasons why it is so important for families to be in the hallways of the Capitol to be heard. The only way your legislator will know what's important to you and to your family is if you tell them. People who are paid to do this work, lobbyists, tens of millions of dollars each year are spent on them. But frankly, the voice that your legislator really wants to hear is yours. Here is a list of 1 year's top lobbying groups. Now, frankly, these groups probably aren't talking about the things that are important to us and our families. So they still need to be informed and educated. And, well, who better to do that than the families that live the programs that they're funding every day? Legislators are generalists. They consider literally thousands of pieces of legislation every year. They need to know how something does or does not support your family. So it's our job as parents and as advocates to do that educating and informing. Elected officials do want to hear from you. They have this job because they want to do it and they want to do it well and they want to be reelected. They want to help. But remember, they can't help if they don't know. And so that's why these visits really are so important. If you get the sense that they're too busy or you might worry that they don't want to hear from you, please remember that these officials have many people, like the groups on the earlier slide, who are coming to see them to give their 2 cents on things too. So, this is where we can do our part to give as powerful of a message as we can, as concisely as we can, by being prepared. So remember that the legislator you're speaking with might not understand your issues. So it's up to us to help them understand. Telling stories is an important way to do this by sharing our experiences. Stories are frankly what people remember, and it can deepen their understanding of the issue, and your stories make it all real. With this knowledge, legislators can make informed decisions, having an understanding of how their action or inaction can affect us. And you never know, you might connect in a way that you didn't expect to. Thanks for being here. I hope this has been helpful as you get ready for Advocacy for Change. We'll see you soon.